AITA for the meltdown I had on Christmas Day, which caused my dad's wife to cry. The background starts with my mom dying. I, 17F, was 11 and my sisters were 16 and 18. Our dad met his second wife a couple of years later. When I was 13, the expectations for my relationship with her and my sisters were very different. My sisters were expected to be civil, but if they weren't close it was no big deal. But almost everyone, minus my sisters and minus my mom's family, expected me to see my dad's wife as some second mother or maternal parental figure. They got married when I was 14. My dad's wife wanted me to divide Mother's Day between my sisters and maternal side with her. My sisters were not expected to do the same, but she would say she wanted to celebrate the day with her kid. She signed us up for mother-daughter things. She would get hurt when I didn't want to go and would never ask my sisters. I asked her before why she expected me to do these things with her, but she never invited my sisters. She said she was raising me and wanted to be a mother presence in my life, but they were grown. I told her, and my dad on separate occasions, that I didn't want or need and wouldn't accept someone else into that kind of figure. I was ignored. I had a small run-in with my sisters when Dad was getting married because I said he shouldn't, and they said he should be allowed to move on and Mom would want him happy. When I explained what was going on, they realized why I was feeling that way. They tried talking to Dad, but it did no good. My dad's side of the family would all make comments that I was lucky to have another mother figure, or how I don't seem to give her the care and consideration she deserves. They would ask why I seemed to spend no time with her of my own free will, or why I was never loving toward her. My dad told me I should show her more love and affection, and he told me I made her feel left out when I didn't tell her stuff or when I made plans with others but not her. I know some people would love to have someone like this in their lives, but I want the same relationship my sisters have with her, but more is expected. So Christmas Day came and everyone was at our house for Christmas, minus my mom's family. My dad and his wife gave me a card from my parents, and my sisters got them with Dad and his wife. Then when it became time for family photos, we got one with the three of us and Dad, but then my grandparents wanted me in the family one with my dad and his wife, but my sisters weren't expected to be in it. I tried to step out and my dad's wife said it wasn't a family photo without their kid. This was the point where I lost it, and I told her I am not her kid. She is not my mother figure. That she is Dad's wife just like she is to my sisters, and I want it to be that way. I said I do not love her and hate how they all treat her like she suddenly became a parent to me. My sisters were on my side, but my dad was furious and his wife cried and cried harder as I continued. AITA? NTA. It's so hard for children. Your mother died and they act like she is just someone easy to replace. You spent 11 years of your life with her love, her presence, her education. She can't be replaced. Your stepmother should have let you time to appreciate her. Most people don't understand that being a mother is not just being a woman with a child in her life. It's a process. Time, joy, bad moments. Children and parents make that relation grow with lots of moments, and we do become parents with our children, and we learn from them as much as they learn from us. I don't know if this woman is a good mother, but she can't force you to be her daughter as long as you remember your mother. And the worst to me is the way they get rid of your sisters not being part of the family. Wait, what? They are part of your father's family. More than your stepmother, of course. They are his blood. How can he get rid of them for a family photo? This part disgusted me so much. NTA, your dad and SM are being hugely unfair to you. This was the point where I lost it, and I told her I am not her kid. She is not my mother figure. That she is Dad's wife just like she is to my sisters, and I want it to be that way. I said I do not love her and hate how they all treat her like she suddenly became a parent to me. Quote, both of them need to really hear and absorb this. You knew and remember your mother. You don't want to have another forced onto you. NTA. Maybe if they hadn't pushed you, you'd might have had a better relationship. Like they excluded your sisters from this new family, not just in expectations, but in life and photos too. At 13, when you originally met, you were old enough to decide if you wanted that type of relationship with her. Them marrying a year later doesn't mean you automatically view her, or she becomes someone she's not. You have sisters and a maternal side of the family, too. So it's not like you are lacking female support, influence, or whatever a motherly figure is to you. They most likely seized on you being their child because your sisters were out of the house. If they had actually listened to you and your sisters on the multiple times you have told them about their expectations, then no one would have blown up or ended in tears. This isn't just their fault though. It's your dad's side too. They've gone along with it for the past 4 years too. NTA and your dad and stepmom are just being really weird about this. 13 is not a baby or a child. You're not as mature as a 17-year-old, but you are a conscious person who's formed relationships by that age, and obviously would already have a very strong attachment to your bio mother. It's very bizarre to me that for some reason your dad and stepmother assumed that this would somehow be under some weird age threshold where you'd be accepting someone new in a mother slot without resistance. It seems to me that stepmom wanted a kid, and that was part of her attraction to dad, and somehow it was presented to her that the older two were probably too old. But that op was up for grabs? Very odd. Rational. If she wants a relationship with you, she could have pursued one on your terms, in ways you were comfortable. She could have been an additional parental figure, rather than just trying to slot in and be a replacement mother. There's room in our hearts and minds for more than just two parents, as long as everyone is respectful of the roles that each guardian plays. But this is a thing that's earned over time and building a relationship, not something that should be thrust upon you because you're a minor and they're sleeping with your dad. Good luck op. NTA. Any way you can move in with your sisters, other relatives? You will be 18 soon. Try to be civil before separate living arrangement is made. NTA. This was put on you as you were the youngest, and they saw you as a child. But you weren't. You were becoming a young woman when they married. Most of the blame must go on your dad. He would have told his new wife to be your mother. You don't mention any step-siblings. So she herself marrying into a family with a ready-made daughter. The problem was they didn't have the courtesy to tell you. She didn't raise you at all. For 4 years. You made your feelings clear. But your dad and his wife wouldn't listen. So you had no choice but to lose it with them. If there was a worst way to introduce a stepmom into the family, then your dad found it. Keep your distance for a while from your dad, his wife, as best you can, and let the dust settle and emotions calm down. Wait for them to talk to you. Look to see if you can live with someone from your mom's family if it is possible for a few weeks. It will make a huge point. You all need a relationship reset and counseling. A counselor will spell out to your dad and his wife what they have done wrong. And your sisters probably have done already. I would imagine they are not happy about being excluded either. If your dad still insists that his wife is your mother, then you have to stick to your guns and tell him that she will never be your mother. Sadly, that will be the day he loses you. NTA. They can't force a relationship that you have been very clear about not wanting. If your dad's wife cares about you at all, she'd accept your feelings and give you the space you need. Instead, the adults are expecting you, a child, to cave to the unreasonable demands of a full-grown adult. NTA at all. She just waltzed in and decided you belonged to her as some sort of accessory without a mind of your own at 11 years old. Never mind letting a child grieve or come to terms with everything. You'll be able to move out soon and start your own life and then decide if it's worth it to have these people around who decided to steamroll right over your emotions and guilt you for not playing the part they assigned you. I hope you're able to access some therapy soon, Op. And I'm sorry for everything you went through. That last part is what gets me. Your dad and SM pushed her to you, forcing you to accept her as your new mother. I would think that, probably, you and her could have nurtured a relationship had she wasn't pushed to be your replacement mother. And it doesn't matter that you were a minor when they got married. Had they fostered the same relationship they did with your sisters with you, things may have been at least more civil between the two of you. NTA. Op. And as others suggested here, plan well for an exit strategy. Good luck, and I wish you happiness and peace of mind. NTA. Op. NTA at all. Your dad and his wife approached this completely wrong. They attempted to force a relationship between you and his new wife, which absolutely never works. Relationships need to be built naturally and trust needs to be earned. They have been completely disrespecting you and disregarding your feelings and reap what they sowed. If your dad's wife ever wanted a close relationship with you, she absolutely should have approached it from a place of patience, wisdom, care, and respect. Instead, she barged into your life, declared herself your new mom, and played the victim repeatedly when she didn't get her way. That is not okay. NTA. They separated you from your sisters and your maternal side when you and your sisters needed each other to mourn and remember your mom. The ridiculous part of all this is that if they hadn't pushed so hard, you would likely have felt a little more connected with your stepmom. You live with them. You are naturally going to know them better than your sisters would. You could have gone to bonding stepmom, stepdaughter things not on Mother's Day, which should have been about your bio mom unless you chose otherwise. You were 14 when they got married, not 4. Sure, 14-year-olds still need parenting, but not the kind of constant interaction that a younger child needs and wants. They robbed you and themselves of the possibility of you having a closer relationship with your stepmom, even if it never was going to be a mother-daughter relationship. NTA. 11. Hell, 3 or 4. Is old enough to have already formed a strong bond with a parent. Thinking you can just act like your mom never existed and that your stepmom is your mother is hugely disrespectful and emotionally traumatic. And not listening to you. And then trying to get all his family on board with what they were doing. A massive mistake. It sounds like she had a mother fantasy, but had missed the window to have her own kids, and wanted you to fill that role. I had a friend who married a woman with a 5-year-old son. They went to therapy. The therapist said to my friend that 1. He wasn't the father. 2. To establish their own relationship and boundaries. And 3. That you were putting in this work not so that the kid would accept him now, but so that the kid would be able to have a relationship with him later. He did all that, and it worked, as the boy eventually accepted my friend as a teen, asked him to adopt him, and took his last name. You don't get that by forcing the issue and dismissing the kid's feelings. NTA. Every story that I read about problems between kids and stepparents happens when the kids are forced to see the stepparent as a new parental figure. You can't force a child to see the stepparent as a new parent. You are not her emotional support child. You are not meant to be her child. Of course you would not see her as a new mother. Her insisting that you see her as a mother is all about her ego. It has nothing to do with what is best for you. You were 11 when your mom passed away. That is plenty old enough to remember her and not want to replace her. NTA at all. You loved and remember your mother. I hate when children are expected to accept a step-parent as their replacement parental figure. If they had gone about this with you the same as your sisters, you may not resent her and your father. You're almost 18. Your father will have no legal say in the choices you make for your life. Please see if you can move in with one of your sisters or maternal family on the day you turn 18. It doesn't matter if your father refuses to let you go. You're legally an adult then. NTA. Your stepmom and dad did this to themselves. They ignored your feelings and requests to create their happy nuclear family, and when you stopped playing along, stepmom played the victim. I'm so sorry they put you in that position for so long. It's also incredibly insulting to your sisters, in my opinion. NTA. Your father and his wife ignored you and what you said so many times that it is strange that they would be shocked and surprised that you still felt exactly as you said you did over and over again. It's great to have boundaries, and you need to continue not allowing people to trample them without backlash. Now, after the emotions have calmed down, sit down with your father and his wife and let them know how disappointed you are in the both of them for ignoring you all this time. If they had both accepted what you said from the beginning, you all would have a reasonable relationship. As it is, you are starting to hate your father and his wife. Is that what they really want? NTA. Forcing relationships is a great way to build resentment. Relationships should form naturally. NTA. It sounds like dad's wife is desperate to be a mother to someone. She picked you as her surrogate child, with your dad's approval, likely because you're the youngest, but your dad and his wife are being total Oz by not considering your feelings on this matter. Every time I read about this kind of dynamic where a new parent is basically forced onto a stepchild, it always backfires, as it did here. But you've made very clear how you feel for quite some time. She refuses to see it and your dad refuses to back you on this. You finally bluntly spoke your truth, and it's 100% your dad's wife's problem, not yours. She needs therapy to figure out why she's so desperate to have you as a surrogate daughter, and learn to respect you as a separate personality. Stand your ground on this. Your actual mom died when you were 11, and your dad and his wife are refusing to respect your feelings on the matter. NTA. Your outburst was based upon years and years of them ignoring how you felt, and only caring how your stepmom felt. If I may have them read this, maybe seeing in black and white your feelings and the support you're getting from random strangers on the internet will be the wake-up call they need to start taking you into consideration. NTA. It's unfortunate it went down this way on Christmas, but they've been engineering this moment for years. I don't understand how they can compartmentalize your sisters versus you based on a few years difference. It's not rational, and it's completely unfair to you. I'm really sorry the adults in your life failed you. Is there any way you can live with your sisters or someone in your mom's family? This is not really a healthy environment to be in.
If you enjoyed this video, please check out our playlists full of similar content. AmITheAsshole is like doom scrolling for your ears. Please like, share, and subscribe.